Now this is the best chicken and basil pesto sandwich. Make sure you stay till the end for an amazing recipe. And we have here 3 chicken breasts, and we're gonna cut them in half because we want to speed up the cooking process. Now let's talk seasoning, and in this situation we're gonna start simple. A touch of salt, a touch of pepper, but just make sure that you coat the chicken all the way around. Now you could very well stop here, but I also want to get in some dry oregano. And with the oregano in, we're gonna follow up with about 3-4 tablespoons of oil. Choose an oil that's resistant to high temperature. You choose whatever you want. Now we're gonna leave this aside because we want this chicken to absorb some of this seasoning. Meanwhile, we're gonna prepare the basil pesto. Now for the basil pesto, we're gonna use lots of basil. And in this situation, I'm only gonna be using the leaves. So although it looks a lot, once you trim it, it's not that much. Now give this a good wash and we're gonna get it straight into the blender. Now when it comes to garlic, 1 clove of garlic should do the job. Raw garlic is quite strong. If you feel like you need more, just go with more. But in my opinion, that's all you need. Now Parmesan cheese. You don't need to grate it, especially if you do this into a blender, because the blender will do that job. But we can go in with about 40 grams of Parmesan, 50 grams. It all depends how cheesy you want it. Now in terms of seasoning, I'm going in with about ½ teaspoon of table salt and about ¼ teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper. Now extra virgin olive oil. Now here is totally up to you. Do you want your pesto slightly thicker? Do you want your pesto slightly thinner? This will decide, which way you're going. In my opinion, about 300 milliliters should do the job. And last but not least, we're adding in about 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon juice. The acid from the lemon will not just give a better flavor to our pesto, but it will also keep the green color of this pesto for longer. Now we don't want to turn this pesto into a puree, so make sure that you don't overblend it. Now I know pine nuts are quite expensive, but there are alternatives. You can go with cashew nuts, you can go with walnuts, you could go with almonds. After adding the pine nuts in, we're gonna go with the lid back on, and we're gonna give another few seconds of mixing, not too much because we want to keep that texture alive. Now back to the chicken, we're gonna set the pan on medium-high heat. And when the pan is hot enough, we're going in with the chicken. And we're not gonna need any more oil, there is plenty here. And now we're gonna cook this for about 6 minutes or about 3 minutes on each side, or until cooked all the way through and golden brown in color. And to avoid our chicken becoming too dry during the cooking process, I'm gonna get in about 50 to 60 grams of butter. Now make sure you are on medium heat when you're adding the butter, and using a spoon we're gonna baste our chicken, which is basically putting hot butter over it, keeping all that moisture inside and also giving it a better flavor. Now remove the chicken from the heat, and we're gonna put our sandwich together. And now we're adding about 1 tablespoon of pesto on each side. And we're following up with fresh mozzarella cheese, but if you don't have mozzarella cheese available, you could replace this with cheddar. It's just not gonna be that great. Olive oil goes in about ½ tablespoon, and the sandwich goes right on top, making sure that it absorbs some of that oil. Same on the top, a good drizzle. And to help with the cheese melting better, you can also add a lid. And now we're gonna toast this until it becomes golden brown in color. Now if you enjoyed this simple recipe, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more simple recipes like this.